two outstanding games in the 4 p.m. Eastern time slot in Week 14 NFL action, and one of them will be the battle in Los Angeles between the Philadelphia Eagles and the LA Rams. The Rams are favored by less than a field goal across the market. This is a big measuring stick game for both teams and a game with a lot of playoff implications. The Philadelphia Eagles came back to earth last week as they failed to manage much offensively against a Seattle Seahawks defense decimated by injuries. The loss for Philadelphia dropped the Eagles to 9-3 against the spread on the season and dropped them into a tie with the Minnesota Vikings atop the NFC at 10-2. The Vikings currently hold the tiebreaker due to strength of victory because the two teams have not played each other. This is a unique week for the Eagles with back-to-back road games on the West Coast. The team opted to stay in practice in Anaheim after flying in early Monday morning from Seattle. The state of California is again dealing with wildfires about 50 miles from where the team is staying, and the air quality will certainly be poor. The Rams are also contending with the conditions, but it makes for an even longer week away from home for the Eagles. We'll see if any plans are made to move the game away from these fires. The Eagles have been playing at a remarkably high level while not doing anything earth-shattering. Philadelphia is 7th in yards per play with 5.7 and one of 6 teams allowing less than 5 yards per play. This is just a solid football team that does not beat itself. The Eagles have turned it over 15 times, but Carson Wentz has only thrown 6 interceptions. Wentz has a 29-6 touchdown interception ratio with a 60.7% completion rate. He has kept the ball out of harm's way when plays haven't been there, and that is the biggest difference from last season to this one. He has even overcome injuries to his key players, including offensive lineman Jason Peters and Lane Johnson. He may have to overcome another one this week with Zach Ertz in concussion protocol. Alshon Jeffrey, who bet on himself and got paid, leads the team with 680 receiving yards. 3 wide receiver tight ends have at least 40 catches and 7 touchdowns. The ground game has been really strong as well, with 4.6 yards per carry. The Eagles are simply solid, and that's the best word to describe them. What really helps Philadelphia, and what sets the Eagles' defense apart from most around the league, is that the front 4 gets a lot of pressure, and that allows the back 7 to sit back coverage or step up in run support. Philadelphia has only allowed 4.9 yards per carry and has 22 takeaways because Jim Schwartz's defense simply doesn't miss assignments. Only 2 teams have forced more takeaways, and only Jacksonville and Minnesota have allowed fewer yards per play. Not surprisingly, the Eagles are also 9th in penalties. The NFL is a league full of teams and players capable of capitalizing on mistakes, and the teams that force them and don't commit them are going to be successful. Philadelphia is also 5th in rush defense with just 3.5 yards per carry, and once again the word solid comes to mind. The LA Rams are knocking on the door at 9-3 and own the tiebreaker over the New Orleans Saints for the number 3 seed. The Rams only have a 1-game cushion over the Seahawks in the NFC West. Sean McVay has to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. The first-year head coach has turned the Rams around and into a legitimate NFC contender. He has maximized the skill set of Jared Goff and has allowed Todd Gurley to shine by putting the offensive linemen in positions to succeed. Goff owns a 20-6 touchdown interception ratio with a 62.2% completion rate. The work that McVay did with Kirk Cousins has been evident with Goff, a player that simply has more upside. He has created ways to put Robert Woods in space where he has 12 gains of 20 yards or more. He also relies heavily on possession receiver Cooper Kupp. The Rams have 5.9 yards per play this season, and that is 1.5 yards more per play than last season. The addition of Andrew Whitworth stabilized the offensive line and allowed youngsters like Rob Haverstein and Jamin Brown to develop and stabilize the right side of the line. Todd Gurley is working on his second 1,000-yard season with 4.2 yards per carry. The Rams, much like the Eagles, don't beat themselves. They've only thrown 6 interceptions as a team and have taken advantage of short fields by scoring on nearly 49% of their possessions. Lost in last year's horrendous offensive showing was that this defense is pretty good. The Rams allowed just 5.2 yards per play last season and have allowed just 5.3 yards per play this season. Los Angeles has become more of a turnover-happy defense under the watchful eye of veteran DC Wade Phillips and this is a group with 21 takeaways this season. The Rams have not been great against the run with 4.7 yards per carry allowed, but it feels like Phillips and his staff have allowed the run to be a problem area in order to limit long plays in the passing game. The Rams are tied for 5th in adjusted net yards per pass attempt against, with 5.0. The Rams are 3rd in sacks with 37. There aren't a whole lot of great rushing offenses out there, so focusing on the pass seems to be the way to go. The Eagles and the Rams both have unconventional weeks on tap due to the wildfires, which may level the proverbial playing field. Philadelphia had a setback last week, which was overdue. The Rams didn't play as well as the score would indicate in Arizona and have some bumps in the road against really good teams, and the Eagles are a really good team. Los Angeles has been held under 100 rushing yards in 3 straight weeks and needs to control the clock and tempo against a team like Philadelphia. The short road underdog is an interesting look here, so we'll go with the Philadelphia Eagles at +1.5. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.